Did you know that there is a country where over 175 languages are spoken? This country has its people used to text more than anywhere else in the world. And boxing fights can help suppress crime rates. It sounds much unbelievable, but it's all true in the Philippines. Genuine Archives shares to you interesting reasons why the Philippines is different from other countries around the globe. Number 14, Filipino population is extremely good-looking. Filipinos are crazy about beauty pageants. It might be the years of American rule that gave them this love for competitive beauty, but the fact remains a fact, they have won in all the major international pageants 15 times. There were 4 girls crowned Miss Universe, 1 Miss World, 6 title holders of Miss International, and 4 Miss Earth crowns. The first official pageant was held within the country in 1908 and since 2001. It's not just about beauty, but also for the promotion of environmental protection. Number 13, a Filipino made the first karaoke machine. If you love to sing along, Filipinos are known to be one of the incredible singers in the world. The first karaoke machine in the world was created in 1975 by Roberto Del Rosario. He patented it as the sing-along system, and even though there were some attempts to claim his creation, he still remains the only patent holder for the karaoke system. Number 12, Ferdinand Magellan was the first European to visit the Philippines. The legendary explorer made the first record of the archipelago among the Europeans in 1521. He founded the first settlement in Cebu, and thus most of the area became a Spanish colony. This explains the fact that around 90% of the population are Christians, unlike most of the country's neighbors. In 1898, the Philippines went under U.S. rule and later in 1946, became an independent country. Number 11, Best Producers of Coconuts. Over the years, the Philippines had been the number 1 producer of coconuts in the world. And even though the leadership now belongs to Indonesia, 153,532,000 tons per year is still an impressive number by means of coconut production. These coconuts are used to make anything from clothing to beauty products. Number 10, the rice terraces belongs to the 8 wonders of the world. Banawi rice terraces are the oldest in the world and were so smartly designed that they still bring a harvest of rice and vegetables, most of which get exported. It is believed that if all the terraces had been built end to end, they would stretch halfway around the world. Today, these places bring the country more money as a tourist destination than rice plantations, and thus they play an important role in the economy of the Philippines. Number 9, a lot of Filipino people work abroad. It might be because of their flexible and reliable character, or the fact that they speak great English as a second language, but more than 11 million Filipinos work abroad. It's around 11% of the population. And a quarter of all overseas nurses in the world come from the Philippines. Number 8, boxing directly affects crime rates in the country. Filipinos love boxing and are crazy about their most famous boxer Manny Pacquiao. Whenever he fights, the whole country is focusing on its television sets. And according to the Philippine National Police, crime rates in the country drop significantly when he fights in the ring. In fact, during his 12-round fight against American boxer Floyd Mayweather Jr. that went on from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., not a single crime was recorded in the whole Metro Manila area. It was basically the same thing during other major fights with the participation of the people's champ Manny Pacquiao. Number 7, Philippine flag has a secret meaning. The national flag of the Philippines has 2 bands of blue and scarlet, and a white triangle at the hoist with a yellow sun with 8 rays, each of them standing for one province of the country. The yellow stars stand for the 3 largest island groups, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. What makes the flag really unique is that it can be reversed to declare a state of war. This happened during the Filipino Revolutionary War of 1898 to 1901, and during World War II from 1941 to 1945. Number 6, one of the islands has more volcanoes than towns. The Philippines is considered to be a super scenic location. Among all of the islands that are part of it, Camigan Island stands out, with the more volcanoes per square mile than any other island on the planet. The island is 14 miles long, and 8.5 miles wide, and has 7 volcanoes and 5 towns. And even though earthquakes and eruptions shaped it, volcanoes have been deep asleep since the 1950s, so thousands of tourists can safely visit the island these days. Number 5, Filipinos have a unique form of transportation. If you come to visit Manila, you will notice some interesting-looking vehicles called jeepneys. They have converted U.S. Army jeeps that stayed in the country after World War II. Filipinos adapted them to transport up to 18 passengers who jump on the jeepney going in their direction, and ring the bell for it to stop. There are about 50,000 jeepneys in Manila, and they all look different, with basketball stars, cartoon characters, inspirational quotes, or even neon lights. Don't forget to try a ride before it will be replaced by a rapid transit system. Number 4, Filipinos are the number 1 texting nation in the world. You already know Filipinos love meeting up with friends at shopping malls, and when they can't see each other in person, they are just texting. And when they do it, they rarely limit it to "Hey, how are you?" In fact, they send about 400 million texts a day, and that it's around 142 billion texts a year. It's more than the US and Europe put together. Number 3, they have churches and shopping malls. Shopping malls are not merely a place where you buy stuff for Filipinos. They are safe, air-conditioned community hubs with gyms, health clinics, concert halls, nightclubs, parks, and even churches inside. So, it's no surprise they are the favorite place to meet up with friends for so many locals. And 3 of the world's 10 largest shopping malls are located in the Philippines. They are Mega Fashion Hall of SM Mega Mall, SM City North EDSA, and SM Mall of Asia. Number 2, the capital is the most densely populated city in the world. The nation's capital, Manila, and its 16 surrounding cities that make up the Metro Manila area, have a population of 12.8 million people. During daytime, this number gets way higher since many people come here to work. And while the number does not sound that crazy, take note that all these people live and work in an area of 16.56 square miles. This makes the population density equal to 111,002 people per square mile, and that is 5 times higher than in Mumbai or Paris. And number 1, there are more than 175 spoken languages. There are 2 official languages in the Philippines, Filipino, based on Tagalog, and English. Filipino is the most commonly spoken and pop culture language, and the government of the country uses English in their work. By the way, the Philippines ranks top 5 on the list of the world's top English-speaking populations after US, India, Pakistan, and UK. All this sounds pretty plain and ordinary, but in fact, the diverse linguistic groups living in the country use over 175 languages for their internal communication. Since many of them exist only in spoken form, it's impossible to calculate the exact amount. Would you like to visit the Philippines? Or maybe you have already been there? Let us know in the comment section below on how you furtherly describe the country. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Mabuhay, Archivers.